It's so interesting because the last video was kind of before this was I replied to someone who wanted to know about frequencies. So this goes perfectly with this. So if you watch that, to the person who I'm replying to, watch that as well. Just go to the one right before this. Is uploading right now. um, but this is interesting because I hear this all the time, and I'm so surprised that by now there aren't more practitioners or information out there that this is absolutely normal. I still can't believe that they're still not making people not making, but having a safe space to understand that this is actually natural. I can't believe they're still pushing that. But anyway, just to get that makes me always sad when I see that. So just to let you know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to relate to this, your comment, and to my video, because this is natural. This is absolutely natural. So I'm going to talk about something I usually don't talk about. I talk about this in my sessions, but I'm going to share this with you because I think it's really important. So I'm like, how can people not be telling people this? I just don't, they should be like the top priority. But anyway, especially since a lot of therapists are pushing meditation. So they need to understand it anyway. So meditation is about exploring the different layers of your existence. And there are no past lives. There are always with you. You are temporarily, every time you wake up in the morning, you're temporarily living here. Everyone has different circumstances energetically. And that's what my sessions are for. If you want to go deeper, find ways to go deeper, I would help you with that so that you can do it on your own. That is basically my specialty. Everybody else is like always having people rely. And again, if people need that, that's fine. But my goal is so that people can do this. That's my whole point of it, all of this, is so that people can do this themselves. So people need to know this as well for that, right? So that's why I feel like it's so important. But anyway, you are exploring all the layers of you. Think of yourself like an onion. This is the analogy I give. My partner does not like this analogy, but when I'm on the live, and my clients, they seem to like it. So we're going to go with the onion. If you don't like the onion one, let me know in the comments, and I will make a new analogy for you and for other people that might also not like that analogy, and they can look in the comments or whatever. So anyway, so think of an onion. When you peel onions, they have very fine little layers. I also think it's cute because in Shrek they talk about onions as well. And remember, when I talk about these things, it's conceptual. All energy work is conceptual. And conceptual means, I take it for granted because I went to art school and stuff, but sometimes people, like, they use concept as a concept and, oh, this is a concept, but conceptual means that it is all symbolic. It's full of almost, myths and things like that. And it doesn't mean that these things are not real. It just means that it is a way to describe something that is not tangible and is different to everybody. And this is why I asked to tell me if the analogy is not correct for you and is not resonating, because sometimes the way we're seeing it, or the way that we're feeling it or embodying it or thinking about it, will be something completely different. I had a session recently where I talked about visions and getting visions. And the client thought that it had to be vision like what people do in movies and things like that. And sometimes it is, but everyone's different what a vision is. Basically, they are downloads, but they're a complete download. It's not like new information. It's like things that but building off of it. That's what a vision is. So, for example, and these, like I said, when I'm doing these kind of things, talking about these things, it's a vision kind of, right? So it's basically, you could see it in your mind's eye. You could, there's so many different ways to have a vision, but to know what a vision truly is that it's something that you already know, like of, like when you get, like, let's say someone gets a vision of graduating from school. They know what that looks like. So that vision is going to look like what you already know, right? It's not going to look like on a spaceship, right? It's going to look like something you know. And so all of the things when people get visions and they come online and they talk about this and they go to meditation and they get these things, these are people who have worked to be pushy. That's the difference between someone who's doing this and helping other people if they're not teaching and they're just telling them stuff. When someone tells the future for you, they're just being pushy and asking questions, and they're used to doing that. And they're picking from your infinity to tell you something. It shouldn't be the thing that you take advice from, just like anybody giving advice. You should use that as a stepping stone and look deeper with what they tell you. Just like if you see a TikTok video, you wouldn't just be like, oh, cool. I mean, some people do, but I don't think everyone does. I'm going to give people credit. You would go look into it if you're interested in it. If you're not, you're like, okay, whatever. But if you're interested in the thing, you go deeper and look into it, right? And that's what these practitioners are for. And eventually, my energies have been telling that I hopefully people will be on board with me of teaching people to be able to do it as well, and stop saying that they have gifts and everyone else's just have to come to them. It's not like that. And I know I have a video about why that is, why people are that way. It's not like they're being mean or anything. It's a traditional thing, and it's done. It's old, and it's not relevant anymore. Um, anyway. But the difference between someone who's, like I said, that's a practitioner, or, someone who, like I said, in the last video, has the luxury for some reason in their life. And luxury doesn't always mean that it was so easy. It might have been a trauma, but it helped them develop something. That's all it is. And then someone else just didn't even know it existed. And then when they do, they can develop it, right? So now back on topic. I mean, it's still the topic, but I went a bit deeper with it. Go back to the layers. So when you go to meditation, you're going through layers. So if you just go in and you're like, I need to be quiet because someone told you to be quiet, because they say that in a lot of the Buddhist monks and stuff like that, but these people have been doing it for years. Like, I know, because I have another version of me that's a monk that, like, I've seen years and years, like, dedicated their life to that stillness, to that moment. And what I mean by stillness, I mean like you literally go to a part of you. You're not still here. You're not here and being still. If someone says that, they're just being weird and trying to do hierarchy stuff. You literally go to a layer of yourself that's so expanded. It's so big. Sorry about my makeup. It's so big. You're so many versions of yourself that it becomes black and blank. And it's very peaceful. I've been there before. They do talk about it in a lot of those religions. People would love to have that, and I want this for people. But you have to understand that you're exploring layers, and you can't just all of a sudden go blast off. You can, but you're still going to have some kind of filter because you haven't worked on those layers. So even if you go to those places, for example, me, I was going to those places, but I was passing out, because my energy didn't have the resources for it, right? So those things about stillness and that beautiful no thoughts and stuff like that, that is a byproduct of you exploring all the layers and working on all the layers. So when you go to meditation, I have it still, because I have so many energies that are like, I have to start, like, like I said, it's conceptual. I see them as beings, but I know that some of them are not even beings, and like beings as in like you can see like a face and things like that. Some of them aren't, but I've created that so that it makes sense for my brain. So you start with these busy layers. The busy layer, you're in the layer of all the probably traumas, things that wounds and shadows that you've ignored. You haven't befriended those friends and stuff like that. And that's natural. I have it still, because I'll have some traumas and things that I'm obsessing over and things like that. And those will come forward first. They always come forward first, even when you're doing energy work. So you do the 3 things and they come forward first. And if you want to talk more about this, it's a perfect thing for a session. So feel free to book with me and we can talk more about that. But yeah, it's natural, and you'll be able to do it. You don't even need me. But if you feel that you need me and you'd like it to make more sense and you want to go deeper, I would be glad to help you and honored. But yeah, definitely there's nothing wrong with you.